Hey Bison, thanks for joining me on the virtual yard. I'm here with Faraji Woodson of HU Football, aka number 43. He is a kicker who was named to the 2020 MEAC Commissioner's All-Academic team. Thanks again for logging on. Can I get a Howard intro for the Bison at home?
Hello everybody, my name is Faraji Woodson, and I'm a junior biology major from Greensboro, North Carolina.
So congratulations again on making the All-Academic team. Aside from those excellent grades, you were MEAC Specialist of the Week as a rookie in 2018. So how have you been able to balance your responsibilities as a student athlete, and what are your long-term goals?
Honestly, as a student athlete, one thing I realized from coming to Howard is, you literally have to do everything that every other student does, as well as, doing athletics. There's no shortcuts. So in balancing it, it's just learning how to manage your time, not wasting time, and making sure you set time aside for rest and going to sleep. Because if you don't get good sleep, then you won't be able to complete your schoolwork and compete at the highest level, right? And so academically, though, my goal is to become a physician, going to medical school. I'm actually doing MCAT prep now for medical school, but yeah.
To become the next Myron Roll with
Everything I do, I try to do it to the best of my ability. So most definitely, I know you said, yes, close specialist of the week as a freshman. My sophomore year I actually got hurt. And so now coming back from my junior year, I want to get out there, and make some kicks and really just show what I can do, right? So, yeah, I would love to play the next level, and that's really my goal, to be the best at whatever I'm doing. So, yeah, I know they got a little HBCU combine as well. Hopefully they could keep that going, and we'll just see.
Yeah, I've heard about the combine, but I also know that in the last draft, an HBCU player didn't go into the 7th round. So do you feel like that's a result of the lack of exposure we have as HBCUs? We don't play on TV like that, or is that just poor scouting?
I think that, I don't know. I know in the draft it's a game, right? There's some people you may want to get, in the draft, right? Because you won't be able to get them as an undrafted free agent or later after the draft, right? And maybe they think for HBCU players, they could just get them undrafted free agent after the draft, so maybe there's no need to draft them now. I wouldn't necessarily say it's scouting, because the scouts can get out anywhere they want to see talent anywhere they want to. So I just think it's a game, it's sad that an HBCU player didn't get drafted until that late. I know in the past, we had some years going straight with HBCU players getting drafted second round, third round.
Definitely agree that it's a game, but I feel like the game is rigged to a degree.
That's what everybody says.
Even looking at the state of the NFL now, they have your boy Cam Newton out there playing for the league minimum. We're old enough to remember when the Panthers went 15-0 and then blew it. But we still remember that. So, I don't know how only a few years later he fell off that drastically.
Yeah. I live in North Carolina. When the Panthers won the game, we got, I think it was, get a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, get a dozen free.
Donuts?
Yes, and when they went 15-1, we was getting donuts about every week. And it is sad. That's just how football is. They see, people as expendable, like tools. People can just move them in and out, right? But Cam will show people. I'm a Pats fan too, so he'll show people.
So are the Pats your team? Are you just selling out on Carolina like that?
Oh no, the Patriots have always been my team, but Carolina's the home team, so I gotta like him, man. I really like Cam as a player. I really do.
Okay, so the Pats are your team, and we got Brady, we got Gronk linking back up in Tampa Bay. We got Leonard Fournette. We got Mike Evans. I really feel like this is the NFL version of Last Chance U or something. Like Tom Brady, 43. Some other people got dropped from other rosters.
Right.
My man John Franklin III from Last Chance U is on there too. So yeah, how important is it that this team is successful, and can Tom Brady have the same legacy if he doesn't get a Super Bowl?
I think right now, I heard people say Tom Brady's playing with house money, right? if I think they would be. I think they would be good. Their team, is constructed. I think the greatest football player ever. But if he's to not win a ring, and I guess these last couple of years he plays, his legacy is intact.
I agree that it's intact. Hopefully, after Mahomes' contract, he isn't the GOAT anymore or something. For everybody black, the league, and college in general. Do you feel like these seasons will end successfully? We've seen the college football season start in some places. I don't know.
Honestly, well, okay, so this qualification, it depends on circumstances. For the NFL, I think they have the resources. I think guys can, you know, just because of them being in the NFL, I think they have a chance to isolate themselves more to, lessen the risk. But I see high school teams are playing, right? College teams are playing. And some of these FBS schools, I think, have the resources as well, and even the facilities um, to protect their players, right? I look at the high schools teams playing. I'm like, I don't know how well that'll end. You know, um, I'm hopeful that it does. For Howard though, like if they could find a way to do it, that's a better chance for us to play in the spring. So I'm hoping that it works out.
This idea of people playing football in the spring and the fall, and I'm really feeling like it's just not feasible or safe. I know you're on special teams, but just in general, I don't know. I don't know who's built for that. I know a lot of people will say they are.
Honestly, I think I think that this is unprecedented times, right? And just speaking for Howard, um, they have like a 6 game schedule. During the regular season, we play like what 10, 11 games, right? I know LSU last year they played like what 15 games or so. I think they might have went 15-0. NFL players they play 17 game regular seasons and then the playoffs. I think for this year, it's definitely doable. And some people their last season will be in the spring, and that would be their last season of football if they were to play. And then freshmen would come in, right? Because college, it's always rotating people in and out. So I think for this year, I think it is feasible, right, to have a reduced season in the spring and play in the fall. Because, man, there's guys, we know now that every season is not promised. The game's not promised. So we should, I think, try to get to it when we can.
Okay, but so speaking of every season not being promised, the junior, are you worried about eligibility during this time?
Um, that's a good question. I'm not. I'm not worried about eligibility. Um,
Ain't worried
I'm,
about. Okay.
I'm not worried about it.
So for players who like marquee players like say Trevor Lawrence, should they participate in spring football and fall football? Like should they just go straight to the league? Like is this really the most effective route to get
Okay, yeah. So, like you said, for marquee players, like I know Trevor Lawrence. If I'm not mistaken. They about to play Wake Forest soon, Clemson.
yeah,
So,
I don't know why. I just
so if he's able to play in the fall, um, you know, in the wintertime, do his pre-draft stuff and get ready for that. I think that's doable. If you're able to go to the NFL, if you're, a top prospect for going to the league, a spring season, isn't what you want to do. Right? Um, so yeah, I think if they're able to play there in the fall, play there in the fall. But if you're like a top prospect going to the league, you got to think about your future and get ready for the draft and that's level early.
I want to add that even people who aren't top prospects or about to graduate need to think about their future too, and not just back-to-back seasons. But that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, I mean there are no once in a lifetime opportunities once you end your lifetime. So that was a very astute observation. We already know that this year is pretty much the last iteration of the MEAC as we know it. A&T down the street from me was leaving. It's a little hurtful, but yeah, they're leaving, and we know FAMU is leaving the SWAC. So, what do you feel like we're losing as a HBCU culture? Like not just from this season, but from a long-term perspective?
That's a good question. Carolina has the most HBCUs in the country, so I come from a place where like HBCU culture is like, the thing. It's excellence. It's what you aspire to. Um, and I think A&T leaving to go to the Big South, I think it is hurtful, and I think it is sad, to seeing teams leave, right? But there are other teams that could come in, other HBCUs. But I think HBCU should be preserved. Um, yeah, I think HBCU should be preserved. There's nothing like going to an HBCU